All right. Hello. We are, I believe, live, hopefully. You might be hearing there's a church near me and they're doing their thing. I should have thought of that. But we are live. Did I hear me? We are, I believe. Yes. We are live. Hello and welcome to a special earlier, thank you for that cornbread, earlier than usual movie crap live, and on a different night. I thought Friday was a good idea. I forgot the church near me is always very loud at this time. That was a mistake on my part, but I am here. Either way, we're early. We're going to do an earlier show, half hour early. That's still early. I think I need time to prepare still. On this nice Friday, I want to say hello to Cornbread. Hello to Cornbread. Hello to Sarah. Sorry, I got confused there. Yes, I would be down with Martin Scorsese remaking The Rock. Purple Goop, Nathaniel Foga, Ramsey the Artist, who I think is only listening, K-Master, Dylan Butler, Nathaniel Foga, Javier Partello, Jordan Salaflo, and I think Austin is here somewhere. Apologies for the church. I don't think they should be going much longer, but I never know with those guys. Yes, this is going to be an interesting show. And hello, how's it going? Welcome to Movie Crap Live. Let me move the mic there. Hello, and how's it going? It is Friday. We will have, I think this is a full show. I'm going to have two segments. We've got a lot of pretty big movie news to discuss. I've got the thing that I hinted at last week that I'm finally going to talk about. And yeah, I don't know. I'm actually by myself in the place because everyone else, I had to come back early for work, but they are not here. So it's been a little chiller. Been getting a lot of movies shot, a lot of things watched that I wouldn't have time for. So I'm kind of like really getting shit done. I'm gonna probably after this fall asleep because I'm not really good at relaxing. I think I'm more like, hey, I'm gonna try to do as much stuff as I can because when I have this opportunity. But yeah. But I watched Kafka, which is cool because I realized I have it on DVD because I ripped it from I recorded it on VHS. I bootlegged a VHS to a VHS and then ripped that VHS to DVD because that movie's so unavailable. And I was thinking like, this is stupid. But if you ever want to watch like the worst, hey, Chan Talks for Movies, the worst like idea of what like the most boring ass movie. There's this movie called Mind Walk. Not Mind Game, which is a great movie. Mind Walk. Oh my god. I should do like a trailer reaction because we used to really I remember like kids in film school would talk about like that sounds like the worst movie ever. And it's just like three people, and John heard like right around the time of Home Alone talking about like environmental stuff. Anyway, I don't know anyone who's seen it. Like everyone I know knows the preview and is like, that seems like the worst movie ever. Like, maybe it's not. Maybe everyone is looking. Maybe that's, like, the key. If I did Mind Walk, I'd be, like, huge or something. Maybe there's a big, Anyway, I think you can hear the church. I'm, like, fairly certain. Anyway, interesting stuff. I was in D.C. That was fun and interesting. Actually, the coolest thing, I think, that happened to me, have you seen Wavelength? I think I have. Wait, which Wavelength? Sorry, I wanted to say personal stuff, but now I think I projected Wavelength. Isn't Wavelength... Hold on. Wavelength movie? I think I know Wavelength, bro. 1960, and it's in that room. Oh, yeah. I projected this, actually. I met someone, Amy Talbin. I used to know Amy Talbin, and she's in it. It's background vibes. Okay, I can't. Anyway, yes, I have seen Wavelength. I projected it a couple times, like on film. It's fun. I mean, it's an experimental film, so Gray Sky Man. It is boring, but you should probably be like, look, people used to do drugs before they saw movies like fairly regularly, and that's if you can't get into it. I'm fine with what it's doing. I don't think it's as crazy as influential as people say it is, but I don't know that theme. Though, forget James Bond. Let's make more Paul Blart. You're right, Bloxy. Why didn't Amazon do that? Okay, first super chat of the night. Thank you very much. What I have tonight, I said it was a smart guy. I have. Hold on. Where'd we go? I need to actually. Sorry. I like to. If I'm showing something, I want to see like if I'm doing it right. Guru. Because I went to. Yeah. Anyway, Guru. It would be cool if they. If that's what Amazon did. Is Paul Blart MGM? What is Paul Blart? What studio? I don't know what studio it blocks. I'm sorry. But anyway, cheers to you. You're right. You make donuts at work? Do you work at Dunkin'? Man, Guru. What the fuck, hipsters? This shit is not that good. Alright, do hipsters like it? I don't actually know. I don't know. Are there hipsters still? Who knows? Leave me alone. He made a whole video about wavelength. Dude, that's lame. I didn't know that. Really? Okay, well, I've legit projected wavelength. Probably, I had a projections job and I was projecting like MoMA prints. I've projected the Factory Girl, not Factory Girl, the movie about the girl in Factory Girl. Anyway, Paul Blart is Sony, but not MGM, I'm guessing. Anyway, yeah, I went to DC. I actually saw my sister's house. It's kind of a mission I would like to do. I'm not sort of joking. I really want to see my sister and brother's house. I've never seen them. I saw my sister's house. It's a great house. It's my review. I was actually like, it was a big deal for me personally. I also see it was my sister-in-law, and we like saw. I got to see Air and Space again, which is amazing. They have an X-wing. They have all sorts of cool aviation stuff. If you've ever been there, my kids had a great time. I miss my kids, but it's cool being able to get a lot of work done. I think that's like most people are like, did you sleep and chill? And I'm like, what if I just make a lot of videos and stuff? So whatever. But I am actually like feel very artistically fulfilled. So but yeah, it was it's weird going to DC because I think it's the most I've learned about the city ever, because I grew up next to it, but with a deep hatred for it. So now I like hate it less, I guess. I don't know. But it was nice, and I like Union Station was really impressive when I first got there. I kept looking at it, but it was a nice little trip to understand DC and see everybody and my sister-in-law's place and and that was cool. And yeah, I can't think of anyway. Sorry, I didn't prepare this part, obviously. But and I've actually been waking up and listening to John Coltrane's Love Supreme, which has been excellent. I heard Coleman Domingo said he wakes up and listens to jazz while he has his breakfast, and I gotta say, good idea. I've been listening to Love Supreme and the album after Love Supreme, whatever that is. Because I grew up with jazz. Sorry, have I lost everyone on? I hope I haven't lost everyone. But John Coltrane's Love Supreme is like a classic album. But yeah, I definitely centers me a lot. Anyway, funner, more interesting. But actually, right after I got off the bus, I went and saw, when I got back to New York, I saw Captain America Brave New World. Because I couldn't wait. I was like, I'm going to see it. So I went with my bag. We went to the movies. It was cool. I've never gone to the movies with a bag. All right. Anyway, nothing else really crazy going on. I mean, I'm following. Thank you, Cornbread. I set it on while Real Ghostbusters was on mute, because I realized if Real Ghosts were on mute while I'm playing music, I will just pay attention to the music and not, go on your stupid phone. My stupid phone, not your stupid phone. Why do I have your stupid phone? That'd be weird. Anyway, I feel like everyone wants me to move on. So, and I don't have crazy things to say. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I have one thing. So, in preparation for a New World, I rewatched Captain America Winter Soldier. In that movie, Anthony Mackie goes, you know what you should listen to? Marvin Gaye, the Trouble Man soundtrack, it'll catch you up. So I thought, I've never heard the Trouble Man soundtrack. I thought, hey, Cartwright, this is for real here. I thought, oh, it's like a What's Going On, because it's Marvin Gaye. He made What's Going On. It's like one of the biggest, most always acclaimed, hugely acclaimed album. I thought this is sort of like that, and he'll like talk about issues and stuff. And no, it's like, I'd say 90% instrumental. I don't know what he was talking about with the whole Trouble Man will catch you up. However, really good album. I really liked it. It's a soundtrack to a movie I want to see. But it was like, why would you describe it that way? Anyway, I'm like 11 years too late to complain about this probably because he recommended it. It took me this long. So why haven't I heard that? I'm going to go listen to it on Spotify, which is what I use Spotify for. But the Trouble Man soundtrack, really good. Won't catch you up on anything that happened from the 70s to now. I don't really, other than people had troubles and there were mans, but it was I did do that, and I listened to it as I left the theater. All right, let's throwbacks. Oh my god, this segment always no, What's Going On is a Marvin Gaye album. You should listen to it. Sorry. Okay, the rest of the show I structured, spent so much time on, and then this intro, whatever. All right. So videos. I'm sorry I had so many like kind of little shorts and stuff. I was on vacation kind of, and I had these ideas, and I thought it was fun. So, and episode 6 of Captain the Falcon Winter Soldier, just because I never. Jazz fusion does rule. I used to be more of a jazz fusion guy, Carter Wright, but I'm sort of chilled out now, so I'm like in the more traditional stuff. Anyway, but sorry, I'm like losing everybody tonight. I thought early show, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, but sorry there were so many of those shorts. We're kind of more back in business with the I'm Not a Robot, which is the only Oscar-nominated short I guess I'm getting to review this year. And Amelia Perez, and I'm hoping the next one will be Captain America, but we'll see. I should never promise anything because I hinted at Condor Man. I don't think that's even happening now. So I should never hint at anything ever. Bitches, Live Evil, underrated. Miles Davis. Bitches Brew obviously is a big one, but Live Evil. And the Mahavishnu Orchestra, Birds on Fire, whatever the first track is, I think it's called Birds on Fire. That track is awesome. Anyway, what was I going to say? Do I like acid jazz? Not as much. Hello, Rat Boy Mickey. I probably like acid jazz. My dad listened to a lot of jazz, so I sort of know jazz through osmosis. So there's certain jazz that will play that I'll suddenly recognize and like sort of be able to understand, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry you had a terrible day at work. But throwbacks, I had 50 Shades of Grey because it's been 10 years. I thought, hey, why not? That was weird. I reviewed just one of those. I saw the third one. And it was like a little more playful, but I don't remember it other than that. The second one was The Quick and the Dead because it's having its 30th anniversary. I know everybody loves Sam Raimi. I thought it would be good to throw back to that. And then on Saturday, I'm doing 3 this week. I'm going to do The Incredible Hulk because for some reason, Captain America Brave New World is sort of a sequel to that. So I did review Incredible Hulk in the lead up to the first Avengers, so I'm throwing back to that. I think that's all the channel stuff I can think of. Am I wrong about that? I don't know. People like the blind ranking. Nintendo liked it. That makes me feel good. I like Nintendo. I don't know what he's doing now, but anytime. All right. So I have some movie trivia specifically for Captain America and one Wizard of Oz thing. That Q&D. What did you mean by Q&D? I'm sure I said something and I forgot. All right. Anyway, I have one pretty big one, and then let's do the big one first because this one's crazy. All right, this is one I read in a movie. You can find Condor Man pretty easily, though. I think it's on the Internet Archive. I have a copy on my Plex server. So, what was I going to say? All right, so this is a movie trivia thing someone brought up, and it's actually pretty crazy. So, in The Wizard of Oz, we all know Frank Morgan played the actual man behind the curtain of the wizard. But as the giant floating head that presents himself as the wizard, there is no actor that is credited. There's several different theories on this online, actually, but there's no consensus and no one's been confirmed over all this time, like the most watched movie ever. There are 3 potential candidates: Shemp Hochton, I think, Henry Hall, or possibly Frank Morgan himself. Either way, Morgan definitely did the voice, but who is that weird image? No one's sure. And it's crazy. This isn't a bigger thing. When I found this out, because I like this new segment, that is crazy. We don't know who the wizard, that image of the wizard is. Isn't that wild? I thought that's like one of the crazier ones. Unless someone has like, no, you're wrong, Jim. Please prove me wrong, because I would like to know. But I think that's crazy. Like, you couldn't name who that is anyway, could you? And apparently, like, some listings will have one or the other, so I think that's crazy. Black Sox Twinkles, again, with another super chat, thank you, as the overnight Dunkin' Baker Dunkaccino is good. Thank you. You know what? You do a lot of good work, because they make some good fucking donuts. Very consistent. I was saying, if you order Dunkin' Donuts and you don't know what you're doing, there's a certain point in life you should be able to just figure out how to order Dunkin' Donuts, because they don't change the donuts that much. I'm not saying as a bad thing. I think it's good because the product's so good you don't need to, but I was thinking about that the other day. Cheers to you, Bloxy. I think it was Brendan Lee Mulligan. Brendan Lee, whoever that guy is who does the D&D stuff. I knew him in college. That's not a joke. I really did. But he had this bit in College Humor where he's saying, like, you should know after a certain age, you should know at every sort of different restaurant what kind of food to order after a certain age. And I was like, I agree with that. Just because life is crazy and... Anyway, but I like Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I think it's better. I'm not a Starbucks person at all, so I can't really do it every day. It's expensive to do that every day. But all right, so here are 3 Captain America facts, which I thought were interesting. The Anthony Mackie is the 3rd MCU actor to receive executive producer credit for a film. The other 2 are Scarlett Johansson and Chris Hemsworth. You'd think that would be higher, actually, but it's only those 3, apparently. The Leah Taylor, who is played by Yosha Rockmore, who's kind of like Sam Wilson's friend in the White House, is not giving anything away. In the comics, Leah Taylor was a longtime romantic interest and confidant to Sam Wilson, who was introduced when it was Captain America and Falcon. They renamed the comic that. Leah eventually broke up with Sam and ended up working as a reporter who exposed drug smuggling. I actually didn't know that. And here's the final one. And I'm going to give you guys a hint to figure this out. I feel like maybe no one will get it. But there are... The Captain America Brave New World is the 3rd Marvel or Marvel-associated movie to include a Kendrick Lamar song during the credit roll. One is Captain America Brave New World. The other is obviously Black Panther. I will, after the Patreon Discord thing, I'll reveal it. But can anyone guess what the other movie that ends with a Kendrick Lamar song? I don't think anyone will get it. Or Kendrick Lamar is in the song in the end credits. I'm really curious because I didn't know this other one. All right. So this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through Super Chats during the show, where it keeps my energy up and keeps me going, even though this is an earlier show, I very much need, trust me, it's sort of been, after working a few days and going on a trip and stuff, it's sort of catching up to me. So please, fucking Rat Boy Mickey, how'd you do that so quick? Damn it. I thought everyone was going to be stumped. Anyway, It's Amazing Spider 2. It's Alicia Keys' song featuring him. Anyway, sorry. It was also Paul Blart 2. Anyway, it helps, gives me energy during the show and keeps me going and all that stuff. Very much appreciate it. But also, there's the Patreon linked in the description down below. You get all sorts of exclusive stuff like postcards, my commentary series. You get more power in the movie review vote. So many awesome things, and it helps me be able to continue to do what I do. It's very appreciated. Everything from, this computer to Sound Blanket, which I tried to blank out the church. It didn't work, but it works for other things. But it helps me continue to do what I do, and I very much appreciate if you're financially able to do so. And if you're not, just liking this video is always appreciated. Subscribing to this channel, you get all sorts of things like my throwbacks and my community posts. I try to be active in various ways. If you want to turn notifications on your phone and stuff, I feel like you'll get, I don't go more than twice. That'd be crazy. But you can find out when new videos are and all that stuff. But if you're just come here and you watch, every now and then and stuff, that's cool too. And thank you very much for being here. Also, there is I'm liking this Bloxy Oxenwinkle backstory stuff. This is really cool. This Bloxy, you're really cool, I gotta say. There's also the Discord, which has all sorts of cool stuff like movie discussions, cartoon discussions, artist shout outs, general, where we talk about like what I'm going to talk in movie crap tonight. They actually told me some stories I didn't know about. I'm not even joking with you. It's a very cool interactive thing. Is the Discord I'm most active in. There's an Ask Jim channel. There's a Suggestions Jim channel. If you want to say, Jim, why don't you shut the fuck up? You could post that. Don't post that in there. I think the mods would take care of that. But what I'm saying, I'm sorry. What I'm saying is that's stupid. It's a great Discord. You should absolutely join it. They do movie watches all the time. Hey, Medulla Butterfly. It's a wonderful community. If you like everyone in the chat right here, then you should go join it, because then you can hang out with us. We do daily questions once a week, and since I was on vacation, I asked the mods to do daily questions every day, and they did it, and they did a great job. I really got to give a shout out to them. I try to do them a lot, but other people can. Or if you want to show up and be like, can I do the daily question tomorrow or something, you can. And yeah. All right. Church is still going. If they're so loud, why can't they pay taxes? That's what I want to know. All right. It's cool, Medulla Butterfly. Rat Boy Mickey, that was quick. I'm a little surprised. I'm surprised people remember he was on an Alicia Keys song in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I really thought people were going to go. I really, in my head, I was like, someone's going to say Wakanda Forever. But no. What I don't get, though, well, the one thing that's weird about Brave New World, before I get into the show, is like it has a new Kendrick Lamar song. Kendrick Lamar's the biggest. Isn't it a new one? I heard it was a new one. And it's like you can't listen to it on Spotify or anything. Like, he's like the biggest thing in the world right now, and you can only hear his song in the movie. I'm wondering what the deal is with that. Anyway, it's not like his best song or anything, but okay. Oh, Buster's here. All right. So as the first thing, we're going to talk about the Avatar. There's a new Avatar sequel series called Seven Havens that is ordered by Nickelodeon and is set after Legend of Korra. We kind of expected them to do more stuff. It feels like Nickelodeon's more interested because more people. I think Avatar is more of a legacy thing than people realized initially. And I'm already thinking about when I'm going to show it to my kids. Hey, are you okay? Okay. When I'm going to show it to my kids, and I've heard other parents talk about how they want to pass it down and so forth. And I think Nickelodeon's probably looking at this, or Viacom, and being like, well, you know what? Maybe we should be passing this on. We should be, working on this like it's a Star Wars or something like that, which I think is a good idea. Frankly, because this is just going to continue to grow whether you add to it or not, and they're probably like, maybe we should add to it. So per the official logline, the series is set in a world shattered by devastated catalysm, I guess, whatever. A young earthbender discovers she's the new Avatar after Korra, but in this dangerous era, that title marks her as humanity's destroyer, not its savior. Hunted by both human and spirit enemies, she and her long-lost twin must uncover the mysterious origins and save the Seven Havens before civilization's last strongholds collapse. Sounds pretty cool. I know Korra didn't get the best reception. I actually watched that when it came out and was cool, and so, the first season at least. Before I watched Avatar, which was stupid. I don't know why I did that, but it's just Paramount. I'm sorry, Ryan. Good call. I think this sounds like a cool idea. I'm hoping that the fan base is cooler than they were with Korra. It sounds like possibly, but we'll see when it actually happens. But I think it's a good idea to expand it because, like, the whole idea of it is you could have more people. They can't all be Aang, basically. You can't all, they can't all be that guy because I think that'd be honestly impossible to keep that up. But I don't know. I'm optimistic. I mean, obviously, you're just getting this log line, and that's about it. And not seeing animation stuff. I hope it's done. The animation's up to quality stuff. But like some of this news tonight, it's like, that sounds cool. We'll see what happens. You know, I really don't have anything against this. Frankly, I think it's going to be. I think it's probably going to be a pretty cool thing. So, you know, and I think it's good to expand it, and then they can just keep making different avatars. I also like that show is like has a strong, like, it's good for a kids thing because it has a strong moral center to it, and it's all about you know, each one, like, they go on an adventure, but there's like a lesson there, and it works organically, and it doesn't feel kind of like, I don't mind when there's morals and stuff, to be honest with you, as long as they're not creepy morals. So all right, now this is obviously the big news, which was the Bond Amazon news. Now, there's a lot of details with this. I'll probably talk about this for a little bit, and then I'll get into the thing I was alluding to after this Bond thing. I didn't want to start off the show with that. So we found out this week that James Bond, at least the creative control, was taken over by Amazon. We learned the next day that they spent $1 billion plus to take control of the franchise. However, the Broccoli's, who, in case you're wondering, this is like a real thing, the Broccoli family, they own the James Bond film rights. They've controlled it for all these years. That's not their main thing. Their main thing is like selling broccoli. That's why they're called Broccoli. Like, I told someone, they thought I was joking. I'm like, no. Like, I think they claim they brought broccoli to America or invented broccoli, because broccoli is a man-made thing. It's not a thing that occurred in nature, if you didn't know. But so, you know, obviously, like, they got other shit, and they have been sort of wanting to do other aspirations and stuff. But we found out that they retained their rights. They just sold off their control. So to explain, that basically means the Broccoli family keeps making money off of James Bond. It doesn't sound like they sold any ownership. They just sold control, like creative control, which they had. And if you've ever heard anything about the Broccolis, they were very controlling. So the possibility of Bond without having to deal with them is probably really profitable. So not only did they get $1 billion plus, which I think is split between Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli, so they each get over $500 million each. And they already made, they made more off those Bond movies than the studio did. It was more about market share. The Bond movies are a terrible fucking investment. Like, I'm actually serious. Like, I don't know why any studio would want to deal with it. And Amazon makes the most sense because it is actually a money loser unless you can monetize it the right way. And the Broccolis would never let anyone do that. So, like, getting them out of the way is actually really smart. But I love that they're like, because people are like, oh, this is going to work out. The Broccolis are such idiots. I'm like, the Broccolis are geniuses. I mean, this is not going to maybe work out for us at all. This is probably going to suck for all of us. But if you're the Broccolis, oh, man, you get a check. Like, you're like, sick. Oh, man, a new Bond movie came out. I don't even see those anymore. We still get these awesome checks. This rules. Like, are you kidding me? I'm sure they worked out a deal that anytime they make a dumb streaming spinoff, they get another check. Oh, my God. I love this family. We're like, you can have creative control. Can I have ownership? No, not at all. We're not giving that shit up. But, like, and they already own Broccoli too? What the fuck? It's reading these articles. They're like, they got creative control. And I was like, but did they get the ownership? The ownership was the thing, though. And they're like, no, they didn't get the ownership. But they got the creative control. Unless there's a new article. They say they, like, made a new deal. And maybe they gave up, like, something. But, like, no one's sure. But 100%, they still have a significant amount of the ownership. Hilarious. I love it. I love it. I love how this ended with that family still having a major stake in this fucking thing. Now, the thing that you saw so many tweets about, everyone's like, does this mean because Amazon has Citadel and so many things with the Russos will direct James Bond? No, it doesn't actually. The Russos are signed up for a bunch of Marvel stuff. And honestly, I don't see Avengers Secret Wars and Avengers Doomsday, them bouncing from that to do a James Bond movie. So everyone who's tweeted that can shut the fuck up. They don't really know. Because I was like, but they're busy. Like, I don't very publicly. Whatever. What most people think, because there's been talk of like maybe Nolan, because Nolan, there's that rumor he had that kind of package, as industry calls it, of him directing one movie with Tom Hardy. And that's sort of what this opens up, basically. Well, okay, so Medela Butterflies asked me, did they get the merch rights? I don't think they did, because that's what made Bond also very valuable, because of the watch deals and the whiskey and the beer and stuff. I'm not 100% there. All we know is they paid $1 billion for creative. I think we'll hear more about that. But the fact that, that is one of the other things they made a lot of money on. So, but basically, if you knew Bond before, the Broccoli's would never hire. Sam Mendes was kind of a very big exception, like an Oscar-winning director. Michael Apted was pretty unusual since he had the Up series and he's a very acclaimed director. You usually didn't get that with Bond directors until sort of recently, other than the guy who did Casino Royale and GoldenEye, who came back for 2 and stuff. But Martin Campbell. But I do think it is interesting what will happen, because everyone's like, oh, it'll be prestige directors, and that sucks. We used to have all these journeyman directors. I'm not really as against that. I'm sort of into the idea. I'm into the idea of like, I've always like, I wouldn't mind a Spielberg Bond. I wouldn't mind a Tarantino Bond. I wouldn't mind a Nolan Bond, although I think a Nolan Bond is a stupid idea, because isn't that Skyfall? But I do think like getting a big director to do it. Now, the one director who, everyone's like, well, Nolan's doing the Odyssey. They're doing this, they're doing that. And, no one's sure when this Bond movie will go into production. Cornbread's bringing up the 2 films are going to wait for a while, but those are massive films that take a lot of pre-production. So, but I do think, and we're going to have to see a producer involved, a director involved, who's running this cinematic universe thing. But the one director who's having the last installment of the franchise he's been running, or supposed last installment, who would be great for Bond, is Jonathan McQuarrie. I think if you could get him, I think that would be the best option. Because Mission Impossible has usurped Bond, especially in the 2010s. I think it was sort of happening, but then I think after Skyfall was the only one I think that was really, I really like Skyfall, but the Spectre and No Time to Die were not great. And I feel like the Mission Impossibles 5 and 6 were really great. I guess the new one's 8. But I think he would be the best choice, frankly, and he's a lot more available. His dance card is a little more free after he's done with the new Mission Impossible. I think that would honestly be the smartest move if McQuarrie is, moving away from the business of Tom Cruise. Christopher McQuarrie. Thank you, Sinram. I apologize. Christopher McQuarrie. But still, I think he would be a good choice. I think it would be the best choice, frankly. But we'll see what's going to happen. We really don't know. We don't know who's going to be Bond. I think we're a little bit away from that. But a lot of people have said that this announcement was strategic. And because they were going to start signing people, and we might even need know who the new Bond is by the end of the year. So I think that is going to be interesting. Apparently, they are looking at building up a thing from the articles I've read, because Amazon is looking to have an international theatrical distribution arm by 2026. So they are looking to launch this to say, we have this Bond movie coming. So this is probably going to go in I think maybe 2027 based on the rough estimates. but it depends who they get involved, how soon they get a bond, stuff like that. I could see this working for Amazon, selling all sorts of products and books and everything like that, and they could actually make the money penny. And I know Michelle Yeoh they almost had a spinoff with her. They almost had a spinoff with Halle Berry's character Jinx. They might actually be able to do these things now. So we'll see what's going on. But I'm not against a big studio, a big director taking over James Bond. I think honestly that would be kind of a cool change of pace, but it really depends. Like, this could absolutely suck, but we don't know right now. Everyone's like, oh, well, look at what they did to Lord of the Rings. Look at what they did to that. But I'm like, well, also, I think they understand that this is, if they want to have a theatrical distribution wing, it seems to me like they'll want a big franchise and they want the market share, and that's what studios use Bond for, and that's like a smart move. And they have to launch it in the right way. Will they do that? Only time will tell. All right. I know some of you aren't into Bond, but I think it's a big deal. No one ever thought a studio could get control of that thing. Ownership, I guess they never did. But, all right, let's do this. So, about a week ago, I just sort of discovered something, and I wanted to talk about this. But I want to understand, like, this. I don't run a drama channel, but I take an exception to this because I sort of I really thought about this a lot, and I didn't do it last week, and I hinted at it last week because I really wanted to think about it. I wanted to see where it went. And this is what I've found so far, and these are kind of out in the open things. But before I get into this, I should say, I really do love film criticism. I consider it an art form in and of itself. I even consider criticism an art form. I know some people don't feel that way, but I do. I don't love when people sort of disrespect it. That's it's not, it's, I feel like we should talk, I feel like I should, if you're participating in an art form, I do feel like it's a valid art form, and I feel like it's creative to mess with it. And I love reading film criticism, and it's something that has meant a lot to me. So Chris Stuckman, I've been aware of what he's been doing for a little bit. I think we talked about when he chose to change his channel to being about cinema appreciation, even though they are all labeled movie review, which I've never particularly liked that. I've known people who didn't actually know he took this turn and just thought he was positive about everything, because I know he mentions it in some. I don't watch him particularly a lot, or ever really, but I have heard from people they weren't fully aware of that, and that's not my issue. However, to put into context what I'm talking about, I saw the movie Presence. There'll be a review of that soon. I noticed that was a film released by Neon. It's a Steven Soderbergh film. When I was checking out reviews of it, because I watch a ton of reviews before I do my own review, it helps me like think out ideas and stuff. I saw he had reviewed it. And I was watching it, and I went, wait a second. He has a deal with Neon to release his movie, Shelby Oaks. That's like it was in Hollywood Reporter. It's not, I don't have receipts. I don't have any info that this is in the thing. I was like, you're not supposed to do that. Like, if you have a deal, if you're making money from a individual, and particularly how he's reviewing things under cinema appreciation, how is that okay? And that sort of pissed me off. And I did look up, has he been doing this? since the deal, like, because for example, it's called a conflict of interest. And there's a critic who I'm a fan of, Whitney Seibold, who's part of the critically acclaimed network. And he was at the time when Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out. He was a projectionist for the New Beverly, and he felt that was a conflict of interest because he was literally getting a paycheck from Quentin Tarantino, that there was no way he could review it without not being biased, because obviously, like, he's getting a check from that dude. And then, like, if he praises it, he's sucking up to his boss. But at the same time, I also think, and this is why I don't review Ian or Rebecca's stuff, because if I praise it, they're my friends, of course I'm going to do that. Or, I mean, we don't talk that much, but, like, you know what I mean. And if I hate it, I'm a bitter dick. There's, like, no real way to do it that anyone would believe what I'm saying. That's why I never really would talk about OKKO. Or if Rebecca's writing more adventures, I probably won't talk about that and stuff like that. But Whitney Seibold refused to review it. I think I thought that was a thing, and I've thought about that since. Like, you know, if I was, you know, working with a director, I probably, you know, like my friend Matt Berry, I would not review his movie because that would be weird, and, like, you know, I like him and stuff like that. So Stuckman, I noticed he didn't review a lot of Neon stuff. He reviewed Longlegs, which came out right before the deal was announced. I'm going to just give him the benefit of the doubt with Longlegs, because maybe that deal didn't close and maybe it sort of happened. I don't know the details of that, so we're just gonna... He does really love Longlegs. Based on what I know of his opinions, I don't think that's... You know, I don't believe he's lying or anything. But I'm going to just, like... That's a weird gray area, whatever. But I looked at the list of Neon films. I noticed in his top 10 films, he did put Honora and Longlegs. He didn't... I swear he had reviewed... I saw a review he did of Honora, but I couldn't find it, so maybe I'm mistaken on that. I couldn't find that, and I didn't watch that in my discovering of this. However, the Presence thing, and what really tipped me off and sort of pissed me off, is I watched this Presence thing, and I'm like, all right, he's talking, you know, normal stuff, Sonnenberg, all this stuff. And then at the end of the review, man, and this is the thing, he stops the review and goes, but you know what movie I'm really excited about? The Monkey. And The Monkey is a Neon movie. And I was like, wait, does he do this? Like, normally? Like, I've never heard of that. Like, if you're doing a review series, and you're like, oh, and my next one's going to be this one, and here's, you know, and you're like, oh, cool, I'm hyped for the next video or review or something. No, he flat out review over for Presence, and then he's suddenly doing a hype thing for The Monkey, which is a Neon movie. What the fuck? Like, I don't understand what is going on here. And then he did review The Monkey. And he even says in his thing in the trailer for this Presence review, which, by the way, I did rip, so don't be taking that down, Stuckman. He specifically says, like, you know how I saw Longlegs in theaters twice and really liked it, but, like, you work for Neon. You have a deal for a movie that's gonna come out. So, like, what the fuck is this, man? Like, I don't understand this shit. I don't like it. I think it is not okay. It is a clear conflict of interest. It very much brings up, I think, like, I don't know. It's like I've heard, look, I get it. I like Pauline Kael, and he's Potato Chip Chris. But the thing is like, this is such a conflict of interest. I've heard so many critics for so long be called, like, shills and sellouts and stuff. But what am I supposed to think of this? Like, I don't have proof, but, like, what am I looking at here? So I wanted to get this out in the open. I think it is not okay. I don't know if it's like he's just doing this. I don't, you know, but it brings up a lot of questions, and it is not cool whatsoever for a critic to be doing that sort of behavior. I hate to call someone out. I really, you know, I'm not a big fan or anything. I'm not jealous of his movie. I was going to see it, frankly. But, like, this is, like, really not okay to do, you know? Like, Paul Schrader, when he became he was a critic and when he started working on films, he stopped reviewing movies. When Pauline Kael worked for a studio, she stopped reviewing stuff. And then when she stopped working for a studio, she came back. But I don't know. I'm really perplexed about this. I'm really confused what he's doing. I understand people got to make money. He's got 2 kids. I'll talk about the Brutalist podcast thing later with that director. I get that, but like there's ethical ways to do these things, and this is pretty unethical, frankly. To be giving praise reviews to films from the distributor that your movie is being distributed by, like, what am I supposed to call that? What do you know? Like, we call so many critics shills and sellouts, but what are you doing, man? I don't know. I don't like it. I apologize for doing that, and I'll move on. I probably would never do that again. I know there's shittier critics for other reasons, but I just felt when I figured that out, I was like, wait a minute, I can't really. Whatever. All right. I hope that didn't come off too bad. All right, so SNL this is the shows have anniversaries segment of the show. Sorry about that. Any super chats would be appreciated after I don't know. Anyway, SNL 50 was this past weekend. It was Sunday. I didn't really watch all of it. I watched a main part of it. I thought it was really cool. Oh, really? They shouldn't be doing that, Sinram. I didn't know that. That's gross. They shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, I mean, Siskel and Ebert, their review of the first Friday the 13th is like a huge... I have like, where they released the lady who played the villain in Friday the 13th's address because they disagreed with her. Like, those guys, I grew up liking them. They're very influential, but they did a lot of really unethical things. Like, I've never heard of giving a bad review of a movie and then giving out someone's fucking address. Like, that is... Anyway, they were not always the most ethical people in the world with their reviews, but particularly that Friday the 13th one. I didn't know about the paper thing, but thank you for bringing it up. All right, so SNL 50 was this past weekend, and it was cool seeing everybody. I like that Eddie Murphy was there and actually participating, which was not, the 40th. He was sort of weird, and I also think the problem with the Eddie Murphy and an SNL thing is SNL is the house Lorne Michaels built, and he was not a Lorne Michaels discovery. He happened between the Lorne Michaels years and became the biggest SNL star. So it's sort of like this awkward thing, but he, whatever. I liked it. I liked certain parts of it, but I thought it was, it was fine. It was probably better use of it than I've seen their other specials. I thought it was more funny and consistent than we usually see them. I heard that Colin Jost made that joke that, like, they brought all the beloved older celebrities together in like a weird super spreader event and stuff like that. And then it became a super spreader event. Apparently Maya Rudolph had COVID and Martin Short now has COVID. So, which is like, how it goes, I guess. They, and they mentioned some people who had died over the years. I noticed no Charles Rocket mentioned, but I didn't watch all of it, so maybe they did. The Weekend Update was pretty good. But it, I like the Lil Wayne show. Lil Wayne and the Roots sounds like a really good combination to me. I like Lil Wayne, so I hope that works out for him. But it was like a crazy amount of celebrities and stars and stuff, but I thought they did a good job with it. It was weird seeing Sabrina Carpenter and Paul Simon, and I think she said like her parents weren't born the first time he played that song, which is hilarious. But it was good. If you didn't see this article, I blue skied it or skeeted it or something. There's this article about how Lorne Michaels has a book as well for the 50th, and he had there's this email thread that became like legendary. I'm not joking about this, where they sent this email about a book of a mass email invitation for a biography on Lorne Michaels, and then an editor for the New Yorker, no, who was it? One of her colleagues from the editor, who works for McNally Books, replied all to say they were sorry to miss the event, and then other people kept adding to this reply all, but because it was like all these influential people, Ryan brings up the poorly aged thing. The poorly aged jokes in memoriam thing was pretty funny, I will say. I like that. So it became this like huge thing where like all these like massive influential people were getting this insane reply all email, because boomers don't understand how to do email. But how have you been alive this long and don't know how to do email? I don't understand that. But it became this whole thing of like, I really like this article a lot. But then it like, these are going around, and then the comedians pumped in, and like Tina Fey was like, "Dear boomers," with a link for an instructional video for senior citizens on how to reply and forward emails when using a Google account. And then John Hamm did it, and then Colin Jost added to it. Was like, "Guys, the video Tina sent is malware. Make sure to keep hitting reply all, or the virus will infect your computers." And Aaron Sorkin was involved. Anyway, it's a funny, like, if you ever read the, like, I think it was called "I'm Waiting for Frank Sinatra," which is a famous like celebrity journalism piece of this guy who's supposed to interview him, and Frank Sinatra didn't show up. It's sort of like that. I thought it was actually really funny article. You should check it out. I'll try to repost it in the Discord tomorrow. But I thought it was actually really cool. The Robot Chicken 20th anniversary special is happening this summer. Adult Swim is doing a lot of 20th anniversary stuff this year, or this month, sorry for it, but the special itself is coming out this summer. I'm confused why the discrepancy, but there is going to be a 20th anniversary special. I heard some people say they're not going to do one before, but they are going to do one. It's just going to be in the summer, not right now. So, anyway, so let's do the Street Fighter director reveal. This, I think, was a pretty big one. Nobody expected, which was the director of the new Street Fighter movie, which when I first saw this, when I first tried to Google it, it kept sending me to the director of the 90s Street Fighter, which was super weird, because it was like, wait, I thought it was a new person. You're telling me I thought it was an Eric Andre person. Did that person work on it? I got so lost. Anyway, I was like, why? Because it kept just coming up with like, whatever. But it's by Kyoto Sakurai, I think. He was a director and executive producer for Eric Andre, which seems to be the main thing. Like, even the trades are like, he was an Eric Andre guy. He was an Eric Andre guy. Look, as much as I do like Eric Andre, and I do think it's cool that he's doing it. It seems to me more his relationship with the show. He directed the pilot and several episodes of stuff he worked on. He directed episodes of Twisted Metal. He worked on the show Beef. He did the movie Bad Trip. It seems like Eric Andre was probably not the reason, but whatever. But I like that everyone's committed to this Eric Andre thing. And apparently the Filippo brothers were previously set to do this, and obviously probably like most art directors are like, well, I can sort of do my own thing, so I'm going to do that. We'll talk about their trailer later in the show. I think this could be cool. I like someone who, sorry, I hit my teeth on my teeth. Have kind of more of a fun sensibility. I like a director who comes from a weirder sense of comedy, because essentially I mean, are you just making Enter the Dragon? I mean, kind of like, if you know someone who's going to mess with that riff, so I think it could be interesting, especially someone who did something weird like Eric Andre. I think this could actually be a really cool director choice if done correct. If he gets to correctly do his movie. So I think it could really work out to be something legitimately really cool if he gets to do it. If it all works out, because they've already gotten rid of some pretty high profile directors there. Okay, so some of these we'll just be going through. If anyone wants to do a super chat so I can do a guru thing, that would be cool. Sorry, I don't mean to beg or anything. All right, so Elio was moved back a week. I think this was entirely because it was supposed to come out on June 13th. They moved to June 20th. June 20th is pretty usual for Pixar, but it's a pretty stacked summer. So I actually think it might have worked out for them had it come out. But because How to Train Your Dragon, the remake, is coming out June 13th, and the week before is The Ballerina. Maybe they should have just moved it a week before. But, what's coming out Memorial Day? I'm not sure. I didn't look up that. And then right after is F1 and Megan 2.0. Then after that is Jurassic Park Rebirth. And then after that is the Kendrick Lamar South Park guys thing. And then after that is Superman and Fantastic Four. This summer is going to be crazy. But they moved it mainly because of How to Train Your Dragon. It's going to be hard for Elio to stick out with all these massive properties happening this year. I think it's sort of a smart move, but I don't know what else you were gonna do, really. I mean, May is probably the least crowded of the two. I mean, you have Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible going up against each other, and Karate Kid. I'm not sure when Memorial Day is, if it's May earlier or whenever, but so this is a really stacked. I almost feel like Elio shouldn't be in here. It's gonna be insane. Because how are you gonna go again? I mean, I guess it's the last family film until Smurfs for a month, but no, it's just because it got moved. Sorry, that's why I'm talking about it, Cineram, because it got moved. But it is one of the few original things, because everything is a prop. But anyway, Elio getting moved was surprising, but I think it's sort of par for the course, but it's gonna be a rough summer. I'm not but, and also I guess this broke today, I didn't see this, that they moved back Spider-Man 4 is going to July 31st 2026 instead of July 24th 2026. I'm assuming because of Tom Holland has a pretty full schedule. All right, now the last of the thumbnail things. Martin Scorsese and The Rock are working on a project that also has Leonardo DiCaprio and Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt and Dwayne The Rock Johnson brought this to Martin Scorsese and DiCaprio. Although they also have that serial killer thing that seems to finally be going and stuff like that. It's about, in the 1960s and 70s, Hawaii, a formidable and charismatic mob boss rises to build the island's most powerful criminal empire, waging a big war. A lot of people are saying, and it seems like the streamers are going to buy it, because this is an expensive as shit project, basically. I mean, there's no other way. You can get Dwayne Johnson, you can get The Rock, DiCaprio, and Emily Blunt together. Sorry. And Scorsese stuff is not cheap. So this is probably over $200 million guaranteed. And streamers are, it'll most likely be a streamer people like Netflix, Apple, Amazon, Warner Brothers are in a bidding war over this crime thriller. A lot of people think, since there isn't actually a script, although this is a project that's been around in Hollywood for a while, and The Rock has sort of like been wishy-washy about based on a true story, that this is just sort of a save face for The Rock, and it's never going to happen. I don't know about that. Scorsese is getting older, but I think he probably wouldn't mind having. He's like Buster's cleaning himself, but not. Anyway, making weird noises over there. But we'll see like what happens with this. But sorry, a lot of people think that this is a way, because he has the Safdie brothers thing, to show how serious he is about being in better movies, and this is not a real thing. And like I think it's Devil in the White City is the real thing DiCaprio and Scorsese are working on. Who knows? I mean, that's very presumptive. I've heard that multiple places, and I'm like, okay, but like I feel like, DiCaprio hasn't really had a theatrical hit in a few years. The Rock needs it. I'm not sure how Scorsese, because he is getting up there, and what if he got to have a hit like this, it would probably be good for him in the long run. So we'll see, but I don't know. I think it might have been a save face just for the industry, because obviously he probably wants to have Oscar chances for the Safdie brother movie he's doing. But we'll see. I think that is presumptive. I think this is probably, Scorsese and DiCaprio announced a lot of projects together. I think this is probably the one studios are going to be the most bullish about. It might end up happening because studios are like, oh no, we'll do this. And we'll see what happens with DiCaprio's Paul Thomas Anderson movie this summer. But it'll be interesting if this actually happens. It sounds like a cool idea, like a mob, and a mob Hawaii movie. Oh, sounds interesting to me. Okay. So there's been a lot of, I guess because Captain America Brave New World came out, there had to be one last, hey, this movie had a troubled production, so we got to keep writing about it. From Vulture. I couldn't actually really read this because of all their stupid paywalls. I actually that is water, because I'm saving the guru for the super chats. So if anyone wants to do that, I will. Sorry, I don't like to bring it up. But yeah. But it would be appreciated, I guess. But we had to do a last one. But yeah, I used to love Vulture. I used to read it like all the time, and now it's like paywalled, and you can't read it. And I couldn't read this article, but I got to hear summaries of it. So supposedly Harrison Ford was difficult to work with. He couldn't move in certain ways. He didn't like having the dots on him to be Red Hulk. He couldn't move his arms up to a certain degree. He was difficult to work with. Most people think the action sequences were bad. I sort of disagree. I think they're kind of like edited like how big blockbusters used to do action sequences. They are behind the times because most action sequences now are shot like John Wick stuff. And this is not shot that way. The full body, like even the Winter Soldier stuff would be better using the Hollywood multiple cutting thing, and you don't even notice it. And this you do sort of notice it. But there's an opening thing where Sam Wilson throws his shield around this fountain, and I was like, you could have done that in like 2 or 3 shots, and it would have looked so much cooler. So I get that, but supposedly the Harrison Ford president character was going to be more of a Trump figure, and they changed it because of the election. So, it sounds like the church stopped. That's nice. I don't know. There's a lot of things with this. To me, it's like we had to have one last hurrah of this. I didn't get to read the article, but none of the what I heard was in the article I think was too crazy. It was a messy production. There wasn't too much new from that, but I thought I would bring it up anyway. We also keep hearing about how the Defenders are going to come back. I guess because of the new Daredevil show and stuff. I just don't. To me, it's like Marvel does this thing recently where they're like, but we can bring anyone back. Look, we brought Black Bolt, and we got We got Elektra, and we got, it's like we don't need to bring every single person. Like, you get it, it's Marvel, and you love continuity. But sorry, but it just doesn't really. I think to me, like, why would you bring the Defenders back? I think I get Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Oh, hey, big news, breaking news, big headline. Jim Gisriel is super cool too. Thanks, Austin. I appreciate it. Cheers to you, man. Where's the guru? Cheers to you, sir. Thank you very much. All right. That was very generous of you, Austin. But I don't know. I'm just like, do we need another? Do we want the Defenders? I think Luke Cage and Jessica Jones could be cool. Luke Cage is the only one I watched a lot of. I sort of wish I'd watched Daredevil, but there's only. I think I like watching movies too much. So like, I'm not a good binge watcher, so that's probably the problem. The other thing is I have not watched past what I watch of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. People seem to love it. Based on where it went, good for them. I can't really dispute those opinions, and I'm not going to, because right when it seemed to get interesting, my kids weren't into it, and I wanted to watch movies and stuff and time and all that. So whatever. But I learned that they're going to bring Spider-Gwen into Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Seems to be a lot of backlash for that, but here's the thing. My kids watch this show called Spidey and the Amazing Friends. There's 3 characters in it: Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, Peter Parker. If you're doing a Spider-Man property, those are the 3 characters they're going to ask you to do. That's just the way it is right now. It didn't shock me. I know people are like, they're doing Gwen Stacy already. That's just like, they do Spider-Gwen. That's just the thing they do now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see her in more stuff for now on. It seems like that's like, and frankly, if we're being real about it, I think that's how kids are going to look at Spider-Man now, that there's like multiple things and one of them is Spider-Gwen. So to me, it wasn't like, I know people were upset. I was like, that's sort of just how the property is. Like, because when they play Spider-Man, like, playground, there's 3 spider people, you know what I mean? And it's those 3. So to me, it wasn't too crazy. So this was the most surprising news. I want to bring up, this is a real article in The Sun. Paddington Bear has been hacked, you guys, as well as the creator Michael Bond's estate. This is real. There's a cyber criminals are holding information. This is not even a joke, actually, on and they're believed to be Russian. Again, not a joke. Who represent the author of the creator of Paddington Bear, Michael Bond. And they said they're going to release information on him and Paddington, which is kind of wild. So yes, hackers got to Paddington the Bear. I don't believe there's been an update on this, but I'm hoping I don't want to know his personal information. I want to know how many marmalade sandwiches he has. That's unfortunate. All right. Oh, we have 2 super chats. Wow. Okay, now it's coming in here. Austin says, I haven't been watching Spider-Man. I'm watching about a real Superman. My name is Earl. Story Syndrome getting redemption. Okay, I like that. I haven't watched that in a long time. I only watched it while I was doing other things, so maybe I should at some point. Cheers to you, Austin. That's funny. While I was making dinner, I just had the TV on. Oh, I didn't talk about it's like. I actually watched Entertainment Tonight for the first time in like so long. And anyway, I was going to talk about that and I forgot to write it down. Anyway, Paul Blart is the only believable threat to Galactus. 100% agree. Cheers to you. Anyway, I had before Entertainment Tonight, I just had on a channel and I thought it was like Home Improvement, right? And then because it's like Tim Allen. And I saw Jay Leno, and I left the room, and I came back and realized it was like his other show, which looks enough like Home Improvement. They went, yeah, I guess that's it. And I left the room, and I came back and go, oh, this is a different show? Fuck. Anyway. Just funny. All right, but Paddington was hacked. I did actually watch Entertainment Tonight. I was going to talk about that. Man, that show is like boom, boom, like so quick, the transitions. I was like, man, we just went through like 20 segments. I don't know. I've long wanted to wait, what? I forgot to share this one, but a few months ago, the costumes from Bananas Pajamas were stolen by the Russian mafia, were held ransom for $100,000. Wow, that's crazy. I've long wanted to make a video about like, because Entertainment Tonight, like back in the day before the internet, like you'd have to watch Entertainment Tonight to like see trailers. So you had to see, like to see the X-Men trailer, the first X-Men trailer, I had to watch Entertainment Tonight that night to see the X-Men trailer. They used to do that a lot. And even like when Ain't It Cool News was a big thing, they'd be like, oh, we got to watch this so we can see the Spider-Man trailer or something like that. That used to be the only way you could see it, and it wouldn't be online for like months or weeks or something. And it used to be like an important part of like the film entertainment world. And I've long wanted to do a video where I go through like Entertainment Tonights of like from different decades and compare and contrast them. But entertainment news, like that kind of stuff, was so much better when internet took off, because then they all went female focused and celebrity focused and didn't talk about the news anymore. And not saying female focused, I mean like the business side of the entertainment they talk about more, and it really became celebrity, and the Kardashians sort of helped something that was already happening, and it was all right. But I've long wanted to like track a little more and even find that one that where they say King of Comedy was the biggest mom of the year. Well, I just wanted to see if you can find that on YouTube. I haven't looked. Maybe it is. So Tom Green. Sorry, that was like a sidebar. I should have written that in my thing. I was like, I did have a thing. Entertainment Tonight's not good. But it was like, before I had kids, sometimes I'd eat dinner in front of like Entertainment Tonight and like Access Hollywood and stuff. And like just chill and go on my phone. And I was like, oh, I can do that. And it was like, this sort of sucks. But like the one guy had been there forever. Anyway, sorry. This has been a lot of me like going like, remember this. It used to be a lot cooler. Yeah, Home Improvement gets very cringy very quickly. I have heard a lot of people say, oh no, that's a different. I'm gonna get to that. Sorry. So Tom Green, who has his new farm show, which this deal is not in, has struck a deal to create content for the Canadian-based entertainment company streamer Crave and the linear TV network CTV. My Canadian viewers can chime in on this. The new agreement expands Canadian Green's ongoing relationship with Bell Media, with previous projects include The Tom Green Show, Tom Green's House Tonight, as well as Green's recent co-starring role on the Crave comedy The Trades. Is this included his new show or not? Anyway, it sounds like they're continuing to sign a development deal for him to make more stuff. So the fact that they're signing a deal like this with him is like probably very promising. That we'll see more stuff from him in Canadian TV. I'm not sure how everyone feels about who's Canadian feels about Crave and all that stuff, but I think it'll be maybe we'll get more stuff from him. So actually, I was about to talk about Alan Richardson, but I will talk about it right now. Daniel Craig has bowed out of Sergeant Rock. He was attached to it for a while with Luca Guadagnino directing. There's been rumors that he was probably too much money. Daniel Craig, there's rumors that him and Luca Guadagnino, were friends, but he sort of saw what happened with Queer and was not interested in working with him again. Who knows? I don't know what happened with that, but he is not attached to Sergeant Rock anymore. He was not like the greatest choice. He might have just been doing a favor to a friend, which like is a real Hollywood thing that doesn't get talked about enough. Like Vince Vaughn attached himself to the Speed Racer live action movie just to like get it through some development rings, so it would get some heat. And then he like left as soon as the Wachowskis were like, he never intended Like he didn't leave because of the Wachowskis. He only did it to help get the movie made, and then like knowingly did that. And sometimes, so maybe that was it. I never hear that anymore. But I remember when Vince Vaughn did it, I heard from other insider people like people do that all the time, and I'm curious like what is another case of that. But I don't think that's a thing you could Google. But apparently Jeremy Allen White. Sorry, I do talk about the speculation just to like voice it and give my opinion on it. I don't know if I don't really believe it's true most of the time. I just like to air it out there. This is a sketchy sketchbook of a show. There is talk of Jeremy Allen White being in discussion, but I think Alan Richardson from Reacher, I think that's his name, he would be a good choice for Sergeant Rock. He physically looks like Sergeant Rock. I think that would be, and he needs a big franchise. I'm actually surprised. I hear so much about that fucking guy. And like, why isn't he on a big, like, he looks like a dude who should be in a big movie. So like, just make him Sergeant Rock. It would work. I don't know. We found out there's going to be a Jury Duty 2, except it's not a Jury Duty 2. It's going to be on a corporate retreat. They realize they can't do another jury. Because like, obviously, so this time it's going to be a corporate retreat. That'll sort of be interesting, I guess. I don't know. I like Jury Duty. It's also weird, like, what took them so long, or is this like they finally worked out all the kinks? I'm curious what took going on there and all that stuff. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't. I was just explaining it, Cornbread. I'm not offended or anything. I apologize if you thought I was. I'm just saying why I do that. Okay, so let's do 3 trailers in a row that I thought were interesting. Cheech and Chong's last movie, which at first I was like, oh, they're going to do like a Cheech and Chong movie again. No, it's a documentary about them making all the Cheech and Chong stuff called Cheech and Chong's last movie. It looked fine. It's going to play in theaters on 420. Ha ha, ho ho, hee hee. Their first one, Up in Smoke, is really good. The rest I'm like never loved as much as Up in Smoke. Up in Smoke was the best, right? Is anyone going to disagree with me on that? I actually, you know what? If anyone thinks there's a better Cheech and Chong movie than Cheech and Chong, Up in Smoke, not a movie that they're both in, which that's like a bunch of stuff, but just like in actual, just Cheech and Chong, they're the starring people in it. Does anyone think there's a better one that's not Up in Smoke? Like, I'm curious. Anyway, it looks like a good documentary. I don't think I would go to theaters to see it. You better get high or something, and whatever. Embla D's here. Hey, what's it going? I don't know. Wait. Is that a movie? Which one? How many Cheech and Chong movies are there, actually? Medela Bro just said it. Anyway. All right, let's move on. Other trailers, there was Bring Her Back teaser from the Filippo brothers. This looks cool. Sally Hawkins is in it. Is this why she wasn't in Paddington in Peru? I don't know. That'd be a weird reason. It comes out May 30th, so I'm actually surprised we don't know more about it, but I think after the promotion for Longlegs, where they didn't reveal anything, we are going to see more horror trailers do the same thing, where they don't reveal jack shit and tease us and stuff, so we're surprised it's going to happen, of course. But it looked cool from the little we could see of it. I'm excited. I really like Talk to Me, whatever. I thought that was a good movie. And the last one, and people might not, so I don't know how many people know who, Embla T, you're just doing Looney Tunes shit. Who Earl Morris is. He's considered one of the greatest documentarians of all time, particularly for, The Thin Blue Line's his big one. What was the Fog of War, which I actually think is his best one, about Robert McNamara. He's done some real all-time documentaries. He's doing one on Charles Manson called Chaos, the Manson Murders, supposedly about like the way he manipulated people and how it was a CIA thing and all this stuff. He's sort of like an interesting director where he'll let people explain their conspiracies and go into them and almost make you believe in them. I think Mr. Death was one that a lot of people criticized for doing that. But I'm at least curious. I would see his version of I've heard the Manson thing done. Like, I don't really honestly need to hear it again ever in my life. But if he's doing it, I'd be interested in it. I just thought I'd bring attention because a lot of people today on like whatever film Twitter, film Blue Sky is, were like, nobody had heard about this movie until like today. And he is a fairly major director. So it's coming out on Netflix on March 7th. I might watch it. I'm not sure. I'm at least interested in it. I really have lost track with him, and I think a lot of people have. But there's at least been discussion when this trailer came out that we should all like be appreciating him more. So if you've ever seen Fog of War, Thin Blue Line, Thin Blue Line's always put as like one of the greatest documentaries of all time, as well as the Fog of War. I know he's made other stuff, but those two, I would say, if you're gonna see two, see those. Check out some Earl Morris. He's really cool. I never saw the Cheech and Chong. Cheech and Chong, A New Legacy. Oh man, Cheech and Chong Jam. That's the movie they should have made. Where are we in this? Okay. It's hard to gauge where I am in the show because it's like not the normal time. All right. Mia Goth is in the Odyssey. I just like that Mia Goth is in stuff, but I know I tweeted this, but seriously, anytime I see her cast in something, I'm like, well, what weird voice is she going to do? Because you never know. Because her normal voice is weird, but then when she's in, like, I didn't see Maxine, unfortunately, but like in other stuff, she always does a weird voice. I'm just like, what weird voice is she going to do? But I like Mia Goth. I like that we have, like, she's sort of our Barbara Steele of our generation, maybe. Quackbusters. I knew Ryan would make a joke like that. But Mia Goth in the Odyssey, I like that she's getting cast. She's like an interesting actor. What? Mia Goth is married to Shia? Is that true? I'm gonna look this up before I go to the next thing. Mia Goth married to Shia? Oh, they filed for divorce in 2018. So that is not true. Just to be clear. The director of The Brutalist, who is kind of a favorite to win. I need to see The Brutalist, but I think I've said this in other things. The showtimes are not working out for me, and that movie's long as fuck. So thus, I have not seen it. I don't know. I would like to do it. It's not because I don't want to or anything like that. But the director of that, Brady Corbett, has admitted that he's really broke. He's living off a paycheck from months ago, but to do all the Oscar campaigning, he has to basically do that and not make money. I think like part of the thing that sucks about oh god, they're back together. Okay, I didn't know about this Mia Goth Shia thing, but good for them, I guess. But the Brutalist director says he just does it, him and his he says him and his partner, but I believe he's straight and stuff. But I don't love when straight people say that, but that's my thing, I guess. Anyway, but they're basically trying to make some sort of money off that, but you don't really get paid to do Oscar campaigning, which is also why like Monique had that tiff with people because they wanted her to do like months of press, and she's like, I can't do that. I need to make money. How am I supposed to? Which is that weird part of entertainment is like when you do promotion, or if I like go on a podcast, someone's podcast, you don't get paid, but you have to use your time to do that. And I think it is hard sometimes. And I do find that like when you're making stuff, it's like hard to make ends meet because it's hard to make money off of that. It's hard to make money off of YouTube. It's hard to make money off anything. But it's sad that like someone who's nominated for, best director and best picture and is like the odds-on favorite is having this much trouble is disheartening. But every time I see stuff like that, I just think like the arts are hard and they're just getting harder and it's not getting easier. And this sucks. It's I wish it was easier to do the arts, but they make it as hard as humanly possible. And that's really disheartening. So, he said he can't take on writing jobs. I mean, I assume like whatever his next movie will get a big thing, but I don't know. Like, I hope it works out for him. I feel bad for the director of The Brutalist, which before I said he was like, seemed like kind of pretentious and stuff, but I didn't know the real situation going on there. I didn't listen to the full interview, but I've listened to the part in question. So Will Smith keeps bringing up old properties of his. I heard there was something with Hitch 2 that sort of fell apart. But then he started talking about Hancock 2 and how he approached Zendaya about a part and stuff like this. It seems to me like a lot of entertainment people sort of think it's a little pathetic because like the Matrix thing really like did not take off like he wanted it to. The Matrix music video was a Big Sean. He really isn't. This follow up thing isn't really working out for him. A lot of people said he should convince you to actually make a real Independence Day 2 with him, which I'm like, I don't think the audience is there. Like, I think you fucked up Independence Day 2. You can't go back to that. But, like, he really like, if he just thinks he's going to, like, pick off his old franchises to, like, bring himself back, I don't know. But Hancock 2, do people really like Hancock? I don't know. At the time, it just felt weird. So, I really wanted Hitch 2, Son of Hitch to be real. I like that. You know what? It could be him and Kevin James have a baby. That would be awesome. Cheers to you, Austin. Connected to Kevin James. There we go. But generally, I've been hearing a lot of like Will Smith, like he was coming back last summer and he kind of doesn't know what to do. And I think it like fucked his career up. You know, not sure if the Oscars can really hurt you. What I didn't realize, I forgot about this, is everyone talks about Richard Gere, and I heard a clip from some podcast talking about, the gerbil thing messed up his career. You know what actually messed up his career? He couldn't show up for the Oscars. He was banned for 20 years because he went out and talked about like, Tibet and all this stuff at the Oscars, and they banned him for 20 years. So it was like when I did that review of Chicago, I didn't realize that. It was like, that's probably why he wasn't nominated for Chicago. And like, apparently they let him back in like the 2010s. It was the first time he'd been at the Oscars in like 20 years, something like that. And it's because, so like, it does actually hurt your career because they know like you can only go so far and like you look bad. And I think there's more so with Will Smith because he was so discussed. I bet that really hurts. But he needs to, I'm telling you, like, call up Spike Lee or call up like an interesting black director. Like, he's never really done that. I don't understand. He's like, there's a lot of directors and like indie directors and young black directors and legacy black directors who he never worked with. And it's like, why didn't you ever do that? I never understood like every other, I don't know what he's doing. Whatever. I mean, that dude's a mess. All right. Charlie Kaufman. This is one I didn't know about. Charlie Kaufman, apparently, although he's working on writing other films, there's apparently people are thinking he will start production on his next film, which is called Later That War. Some have speculated because he mentioned before that he talked about a script that Ryan Gosling was to star in. I think Ryan Gosling's art house days are over. I don't think that's happening anymore, which sort of sucks. But a lot of people think because Ryan Gosling supposedly set to star in, which I think we talked about forever ago, Sean Levy's Star Wars movie. But that is not confirmed. I don't know why everyone's acting like that's confirmed, but everyone in all these articles are acting like it's confirmed. But I don't know. We'll see. I do think Charlie Kaufman's not in his, Orion in the Dark barely gets mentioned at all anymore. So I do feel like he's not as celebrated. So it's probably harder for him because that attention really helped him for a long time. So Master of the Universe, we found out there's going to be Ram Man in it, and we got on-set photos, which just looks like He-Man in the real world again. Cool. There's really nothing about this movie that I find pretty exciting at all. I think it sort of stinks. So I'm a little disappointed so far, but Ram Man's going to be in it. Sounds like it has a cool cast. We'll hope it works. I think also one of the reasons Amazon bought James Bond is because this was sort of their big franchise before this. So we'll see. Like, why have him go back to the real world? Just have him be an Eternia. I don't want to see him. Like, I like that other movie. I watch it way too often in my life. I'm stupid, but like, don't you're not gonna hit perfection, bro. Just like do the He-Man movie one. Do it on Eternia. Like you're Travis Knight. Come on, come on. You didn't ruin Will Vinton's life to make this Masters of the Universe, bro. Come on. Did Saber make that video about Leica? I forget, but that's the ending. All right. Chris, I don't remember sometimes what I worked on. Crisis on, that is what happened though. Crisis on, we learned that Crisis on Infinite Mirths, the Hanna-Barbera Verse Cartoon Network crossover special, will be on Max on March 6th. So we get Earl Morris and Jellystone. The double feature we all wanted. We all wanted that, didn't we? We wanted to watch the Earl Morris Charles Manson thing and the Cartoon Network. You know what, though? If I didn't have anything going on that day, that's what I would be doing. Yeah, and before that, on March 1st, actually on a Saturday at 8 o'clock, they're doing these premieres, so like the numbers peak up and stuff. War of Rohirrim is going to be on Max on March 1st, which I think is Saturday. Anyway, whatever. And then, yeah, I'll talk about the box office a little. Niza 2 is really doing well. I don't think there's too much to talk about other than I sort of talked about it last week. It's doing really well. It did open in America at number 7 last week. Captain America Brave New World was number 1 with 88 million, which is like respectable, not amazing, which is sort of what I thought it would do. Paddington Peru made 12 million. I also saw that with my family and stuff at Alamo Draft House, and that was fun. There's not too much to talk about box office wise, except for a few things. Hard Eyes increased in box office by 19%, which again, we're keep seeing this box office doing well for smaller movies, which is legitimately cool. Mufasa went up 5.8. What is wrong with people in this movie? I hate all of this, but it went up 5.8 despite losing 700 theaters. And one of them days is like went up 4.4%, but also lost 694 theaters, which is crazy. So it's doing again, one of them days is like a bigger success story than people want to talk about. I don't think there's anything else really. Oh, the Annihilation of Fish thing, which is this re-release, that all that. And Hundreds of Beavers went up 219% because it is back in a theater. Was there anything else? I didn't talk about maybe I talked about it before. I forget. Anyway, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take a break. So I need to use the bathroom. Then I'm going to talk about... I've had this idea on how to reboot James Bond for so long. I actually didn't need to take notes on this. I just have this whole thing in my head. So that'll be easy. And then we'll talk about Mickey Mouse When the Cat's Away, which I thought was appropriate since nobody's here. So it's sort of... I thought it was appropriate just for me. Maybe nobody will remember that. And then that'll be it. I actually hope to end around midnight is my plan. So we'll see. I have reviewed Kick-Assia. What are you talking about, Rat Boy Mickey? I have done that. All right. I will be... I wouldn't mind Steven Soderbergh to direct Bond. I would love that. That would be amazing, but I don't know if he would do it. That's the thing. Anyway, I'll be right back after this, and then we'll talk about how I would reboot Bond. Just this idea I've had for forever. Might as well do somewhat. I've been meaning to make a video for that for a long time, so now I guess I will. All right, I will be right back after this. Oh, sorry to come back, but I do remember Haywire. I still really like Haywire despite Gina Carano. But you're not a fake fan, Rat Boy Mickey. Sorry. Now I will go. But I do. Haywire's really good. I really like Haywire. Sorry. But more because of Soderbergh. Gina Carano, way too many chances. Anyway, we don't need to talk about her. She sucks, but Haywire rules. Hello, how's it going? All right. Okay. We're talking about this Bond thing. I'm sorry to ask for super chats. I don't mean to feel really stupid, but obviously life is the way it is. So I'm just going to say this last time. If anyone wants to do a super chat in the last half hour of the show, I appreciate it. We can run a little long. I will try to answer all the questions. I'm feeling a little burnt out from like everything. So if at a certain point I need to end it, but I think I can do everything, be done, and then I'm going to pass out. But this has been a weird show because I'm sorry for the Stuckman thing. I feel a little bad about being, what was that, Gamer from Mars or whatever that guy's name is. Anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. What wanted to talk about? I didn't get to talk about. Oh, hey, thank you, Austin. Cheers for you, man. You've been very nice to me tonight. Cheers to you. I like the $1. That's always cool when you get one of those. We saw. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this. Sorry, I kept forgetting to talk about Annie's script. I saw what's happening with the Alamo Drafthouse in Brooklyn. I go there. I went to an Alamo Drafthouse in D.C. And I was aware of what was happening in Brooklyn. I know Alamo Drafthouse. I like dine-in theaters. I think it's kind of neat at a certain point, but at another point, it's like I don't love it because you can't always concentrate on the movie. I like Nighthawk, which is a New York brand, better than I like Alamo. Alamo is a little too chainy, but or much like a chain. But I also like. I've always felt like they are much more interested in, and kind of all eat-in diners are like more for people who can. A lot of people, when they see movies, they're just, the movie is the entertainment. They're like, oh wow, I'm seeing a movie, and then they go eat at home and stuff. And the problem I have with dine-in stuff is very much feels like a way to make sure the audience is only the kind of people who can afford that stuff, and that's just not how I like to see movies personally. I like to see it as like a date with my wife and stuff, or a special thing. But I don't know. But Paddington was fun. I'm going to shoot a review of that. But yeah, that is where. Will there be live action Snorks? Thank you for that, Medela Butterfly. Medela Butterfly is usually what Austin does. I like this. I would like a live action Snorks. Me and my punk friend and I had this ongoing joke all throughout high school. And we just look at each other across the cafeteria and we go, Snorks. No, I would say Storks and he would say Smurfs. I forget. But we just yell it at each other, and people were like, it was one of those things that like suddenly people would laugh one time in the year and wouldn't laugh. We kept it going the whole 3 years I was there. I went to another school my senior year, but it was. I think there should be a live action Snorks. I don't really get the Smurfs thing. Is like, I told my daughter because she was like, "Why? I don't want to watch the Smurfs." I was like, "Well, that's the big. It's like the longest running Saturday morning cartoon ever, actually." And now nobody gives a shit. Anyway, did I cheers that? If I didn't, there we go. Anyway, I stand with the people in Brooklyn who do that. If you watch their videos, they make a lot of really good points on how they're treated. And Alamo Drafthouse has a long history of not being a very well-run company. A long history. It is not a new thing. Anyway, so Bond, James Bond, how I would reboot it. Now, this is an idea I don't actually know who came up with part of this idea, but I'm sort of coming off that. So, they do still have, by the way, Smurfs still have gummies out. Like, it's been running this whole time. I find that odd. I didn't get to read what Nathaniel Fogel wrote. Hope it wasn't, I don't know what it was. Anyway, so, there's this long podcast called Meet the Movie Press, and one person on there came up with the idea of who should play Bond. During the many times we thought it was going to be recast, which is like way too much. However, the idea was, and I don't remember who, I think it might have been Simon Thompson. I forget who it was. I'm just going to say it was on this podcast. So if anyone, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. I don't like to take credit for stuff. Said that the new Bond should be of Indian descent. I like that idea because there's obviously like a lot of Indian community in England. And I thought it would be a cool idea if that was the new Bond. Maybe Riz Ahmed. I don't know if his what his descent nationality is or something, but someone like of Asian descent or something, I think would be cool who has ties to England. Would be an interesting idea, but that would be the idea of who would be cast. Now, my idea of a structure of Bond is a little different. This is all Jim, baby. But it's sort of a little influenced by the Tom Holland Spider-Mans, but it's sort of its own thing. So basically what you would do is you have 3 films. It'd be like a little trilogy of Bond films. They're all connected. Dev Patel would be, you know what, at the time, Monkey Man hadn't happened. I still haven't seen that actually. But like I think that could actually work too. But anyway, so in the first one, the villain would be Timothy Dalton, right? So, and I'd try to incorporate the way this trilogy will work. Each one, the villain would be a previous Bond. Now, Lazenby could just be like part of MI6 or whatever. He can just like be in the office. He's like a minor character because I actually like Honor Majesty's Secret Service. I think it's pretty good. Christopher Nolan does as well. But, we have, so in the first one, it's Timothy Dalton. And it can all lead to the big Spectre guy in the third one, which would be Daniel Craig. And then in the second one, it would be Pierce Brosnan. Now, Dalton, I know, is the least sort of famous of those 3. But that would work because the first one you could do more about building this new Bond and how, these guys are the tradition of Bond. This is my whole theory of it. And this new guy is fighting the tradition and showing the evils of that tradition through their villainy. They could each also be a famous Bond character if they want. They could be their own villain or something. Under this theory, you could do both. It really doesn't matter, to be totally honest with you. But that would be the idea, is like each trilogy would be a different Bond that he would fight with. And then we take Timothy Dalton down, and at the end they would have a stinger thing. It would be Pierce Brosnan. The Pierce Brosnan one would be Daniel Craig. And then I actually think it would be cool after that, it's its own thing. It's like no more Bonds. I don't want him to fight Judi Dench. I don't want anything like that. It's its own thing. But like you start off just dealing with the legacy of Bond and like what the legacy of England is, and like these people could be super racist and shit, and like all of that with each of the villains. And also the reason in Meet the Movie Press they wanted someone of Indian descent and stuff is because the problem with Bond is you're already getting old dudes like me gonna see the Bond movie. You're stuck with us. You need to get a new demographic, and like India has a huge movie market. That like this was this guy's theory at the time, but I actually think it's a good theory. Like you're opening up a part of the world that has a huge movie market to James Bond, and you're also getting the Bond villain is a Bond, which is a cool idea, which they never did in the original the Broccoli Bond movie. So I've had this idea forever. I don't know why I've never talked about it on here before, but I figured, you know what, now's the time. That's my sort of idea if you're going to reboot Bond, is use all the old Bonds to your advantage, get the old fan base excited again, launch this new guy, and then you set him off. And on the fourth one, you can do traditionally what you do in around the third one is you do this big like launch of the character. Like basically, if you like it, Goldfinger was his sort of like one of the better Connerys. It was sort of his big launch. The Spy Who Loved Me is Roger Moore's sort of big launch thing. It was like probably his best movie. And then Skyfall, no one's going to pay for these, might as well use them. Skyfall was Craig's big, his big movie that everyone liked and stuff. So the third one has a special meaning in certain Bonds. But I think make that this guy's fourth one. Do this trilogy. You have him set up. Everyone has accepted him as Bond, and then he does his own thing. You could even honestly do his own trilogy after that. That's his own shit, and which I think would be cool. Anyway, that is my idea on how to reboot Bond. I know I'm sort of taking a germ of someone else's idea and making it, but I think that would be the best way to do it, and that is how I would reboot 007. I don't know if this will be a separate video later. I think it could be cool. I don't know. I hope you guys dug that. I know it's a different thing. Thank you, Carter. It seems like people... I don't want any AI people. I think Connery or Moore would have been good Bond villains too, but unfortunately, they're dead, so they can't do that. I was like, why don't you use these people? It's also why Connery got really treated badly by the Broccoli's. They weren't very good to him, so it makes sense. Anyway, let's move on. Let's finish this shit up, bro. As they say. I don't know who is they, but I will do an Oscar reactions the next day, like a live stream. I'll do that, but not like a react. I think Emilio Perez won't win shit. That's sort of what I'm hoping. So, all right. So tonight I'm going to talk about Mickey Mouse. This is the 6th, I believe, the 6th Mickey Mouse cartoon, the 6th one ever. It was released on May 3rd, 1929. It is also in the public domain, and it was the 3rd one released in 1929. And it's called When the Cat's Away. This is an interesting one, partly because this is one of the few Mickey Mouse cartoons where Mickey and Minnie are actually the size of regular mice. I'm actually surprised to learn this, but I was like, yeah, they're never really mice size. They're like sort of like larger size, which is sort of weird. But whatever. Basically this is sort of a hangout movie or cartoon, I would say. It's after this tomcat leaves his house, he's drinking and he's gonna go hunting and binge drink. He's living the dream. Mickey and all his mice friends, only has mice friends, I guess, break in to the cat's house. One of them turns into a mouse key and opens it up, and then they just have a party. Mickey and Minnie are dancing on the keyboard with the kind of like those, I don't know what it's called, but the keyboard, the piano. They have like the sheet music and it plays and they're dancing with it. At some point, Mickey takes Swiss cheese, cuts it up and makes it into sheet music, and it plays music somehow. The mice in this are engineering geniuses. They play records on their tails. They make Swiss cheese play music. They turn themselves into keys. Like, honestly, some crazy, amazing shit right here. Like, the mice in this really deserve a lot of credit here. And the thing is, nobody gets caught. There's no end. Everyone gets comeuppance. It's like it ends. We see Minnie's underwear for some reason, and then it's over. They dance and they're having a good time. I guess that cat fell asleep drunk in the woods and woke up the next day or something. Doesn't matter. This was actually a remake, sort of, and I watched it, of the Alice comedies. I know I haven't gone into the Alice comedies, which is what Disney did sort of before. This is which was in the 27, I think. I didn't write the year down because I'm stupid, but was it 27 or 25? Sorry. In the it's sort of a loose remake of the Alice comedy called Alice Rattled by Rats. In that one, that one's actually more family friendly. This is more like a little more seedier than that one. In that one, like, she's like, "Can you watch the house?" And then the mice distract the cat, and then the mice have a party, and then the cat tries to stop them. In this one, they just decide to get rid of that. Supposedly in this one, originally there was going to be a pet parrot calling the police and everyone scurries away. They decided to cut that. I like that this is sort of a cool hangout thing. It's like most cartoons try to have like the moral and stuff like that. And this is just like, what if mice have fun when the cat's away? What if that's it? What if I kind of like that, you know? It's like, I do like how often dancing is like a good thing and playing music is a good thing in these things. I think it's really cool. You can actually watch the short on its Wikipedia page, which is neat. This was animated by Ub Iwerks and Ben Sharpenstein. Ub Iwerks also animated Alice Rattled by Rats, of course. They say this is directed by Disney, but we know what's up. I like this. I think it's maybe a little better than the last one. I don't know. This doesn't stand out or anything, but it's like a cool vibe. Like, I wouldn't mind if someone put this on, frankly. But like, it's cool to just be like, let's just chill, bro. Let's just hang out while the cat's gone. Let's play some music. Let's have some fun. I like that idea. I think that's really cool. it's just a fun little Mickey Mouse short. There's not much more to say about it. I kind of like that they were at least cool enough to like, just like have Mickey Mouse and the characters just vibe and be cool. I think that's a neat little thing. I get that like definitely that cat was just getting drunk all day, but it's also like, people. Isn't this during Prohibition? I don't know. Yeah, it's the 20s during Prohibition, I guess. Well, towards the end. Anyway, I think it is. It's a nice little fun short. If you're like, should I watch this? Like, yeah, it's a fun thing. It's not going to change your world or anything. It does feel like as this gets going, they're sort of like doing it to do it, and the fact that they sort of remade a thing. But I actually like this more than the Alice one. I think this is the superior version. So it's a little bit like a lot of times you look at classic Hollywood stuff, and some of the times they kind of reuse an idea, and sometimes like the second or third time they've done that format, it works out better because they've learned their lesson. And clearly they learned the lesson that nobody likes to see, the fuzz break up the party, and it's much more fun to just have fun. And I think, this era of Mickey Mouse, he just wants to dance with Minnie and play some Swiss cheese music, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right, let's write questions below. It's weird that we're ending early. I love this. All right, we got 3 Patreon questions. Nathaniel Foga asks, most underrated Bond film. I actually think A View to a Kill, because it's so hokey, and you have Grace Jones and Christopher Walken as the villains with a fun Duran Duran song. I like A View to the Kill. I like it for being cheesy, basically. I like it for that. But I would say oftentimes it's art. I think a lot of people will say On Her Majesty's Secret Service because it's very influential. But at the same time, like, I feel like Christopher Nolan put it in his top 10. It's sort of canonized. But you do hear people disregard it pretty much. There's another. I almost missed one. Okay. Ms. L. Torres says, after Eternal Sunshine, why hasn't Charlie Kaufman written another movie like The Toxic Avenger? I actually enjoyed them as much as his Prestige work. Did he write The Toxic Avenger? I've noticed people are saying that. Did he write that? I was unaware he wrote, like, the new one? I'm lost on this. I mean, I think he gets to write what he wants, but I'm going to look at his... What are they talking about? Is someone else named Charlie Kaufman write The Toxic Avenger? I don't see this listed... Is this a joke thing I'm not getting or something? I'm a little lost in that. Because it sounds like Lloyd Kaufman. Is that it? I guess he didn't write it because he's not that kind of cult guy. I guess that's what you meant. I'm sorry to be misunderstanding it or something. Anyway. Okay, sorry. It took me a minute. I guess, he's lost his cult ways. Now he's moved on to other things. Sidram asks, great news, Jim. Jeff Bezos himself has chosen you to play an important role in the refreshment of the James Bond movie franchise. I should have read this earlier. Now, under Amazon control, your first task is to consider casting options for MQ, Moneypenny, and whoever James's new leading lady would be, all of whom will appear in multiple films. Fortunately, Bezos himself will pick the actor to play Bond and has decreed that it will not be a 60s origin story, rather set in present day. This is hard. Let's see. Of the leading ladies, we have MQ and Moneypenny. Ray Fiennes was a good choice. Okay, Q, I'll do. Who's the guy from Peep Show for Q? Hold on. Peep Show. What's his name? David Weber? Is that his name? David Mitchell. David Mitchell is Q. I like that one. M. That's tough, man. Hold on. I have a super chat here. Okay. Malcolm Rampart says, thank you. It's a very generous super chat, by the way. That's all I need. Heard it? Okay, fun fact, I think you already know this, but Making His Friends had a very extensive lore in European comics for decades now, specifically in Italy. Even Clarabelle the cow has gotten stories. I've heard that Europeans like those a lot more than us. That's interesting. Thank you, Malcolm Rampart. I very much appreciate it. Thank you for. No, I've seen I know people did Donald Duck comics and would get mobbed at European conventions, and here it's not even a thing. So it's very interesting how big that is. Cheers to you for bringing that up. Okay, so guy from Peep Show, David Mitchell is Q, M, and Moneypenny are the two harder ones. I almost want to say Olivia Colman, but I picked a Peep Show person, so I'm not going to do that. Moneypenny, I really don't know. Charlie XCX. I was just going to go with that until I can think of anyone else. And M, this is a good question. Senator M always stumps me, man. I do like this, but he's always like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "No, I like this. This is entertaining." M. Fuck. I don't want to give up. It should be someone. I don't want to do an older Bond because that's lame. Because I already discussed that. M. Sorry, I'm trying to think of a 70s English actor who could do. Oh, Christopher Eccleston. Christopher Eccleston's M. David Mitchell is Q. Moneypenny. Who is an English actor? I think it would have to be someone I've never heard of. I can't think of anyone who'd be young. But that's the other thing. You would have to find someone who could play off of Bond. And that would be... I think that's a part would have to... Without knowing that would be difficult. But... English ladies. I'd probably have to go young. Sorry, this is these are the kind of questions that would actually be stumping me. Stuff like this. I like my M and the Q. I'm proud of those. Which David Mitchell... Wait, who did I say for him? I forget. But it was good. Oh, now I want Tom Baker involved. No, Tom Baker is Q. Forget David Mitchell. Tom Baker is Q. Wait, no, that's too Doctor Who. Fuck it. I don't care. Fuck it. And then get... Who would be... Oh, man. That's tough. Moneypenny's the tough one. Because she has to be English. And who is a young English actress? I don't think... Millie Bobby Brown's probably age appropriate. But someone like that. Maybe Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa. There we go. We're done. I plead the fifth with Dua Lipa. And finally, Austin says... Hey, I think, no, okay. Tom Baker, David Mitchell, Christopher Eccleston, and whoever I said for Moneypenny, Dua Lipa. Fine. Actually, Charlie X, let's just go with Charlie XX. I think she would have fun with it. So, Charlie XX. Austin, hey, Jim, what a great show. Hope you're doing well and having a good weekend. And happy Friday. Did you get pizza on Friday? I did not, actually. I had sort of simple tacos. My question, which is last and up next, is Cornbread, which is true, is what is the best blaxploitation movie and which one is your favorite? There's this one, Detroit 9000, which I remember really liking, that Tarantino would always recommend. I used to say that. I think Superfly, I love that soundtrack. I would say that one. Or maybe Coffee. I would say the best is probably Superfly. My favorite is probably Coffee. There we go. I like Coffee a lot. I like Coffee more than Foxy Brown. Jackie Brown's not blaxploitation. That's after. Anyway, Cornbread question. While we still have a little ways away from the actual anniversary date, as of right now, since it's been past 12 for you, it's been 5 years since you joined your own server. How does it feel for you? Oh, from the Discord server. It feels really cool. I really like it. I would like to do a thing for that. We'll see when that happens. Austin, Thoughts about an AI James Dean from the Vietnam movie being the villain to your James Bond? Sure. Even though he never existed when, I don't think he ever lived to be in a Bond movie. Who would sing the Bond theme in your dream version? I know Radiohead tried to. Charlie XX can do both, baby. I would use somebody weird. I think they do two, like Sam Smith. Like, I don't like Sam Smith. Like, it's fucking Dennis music, man. I don't know. Al Vasquez. Yeah, Charlie XX all the way. Let's just do her. I think with the pop girlies you have now between Sabrina Carpenter, Chappell Roan, and Charlie XX, and even Dua Lipa from the past earlier this decade, like do something like you have too many options to do another big song like that. Just don't do a ballad. It sucks. Al Vasquez, thoughts on the Marvel and DC doing another crossover this year? I kind of didn't have much to say because it's sort of like okay, because there's not much to say about it just yet, but that's fine. Question: have you finished your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man? No, I haven't. I haven't watched any more than what I reviewed. I don't think I will. I am going to try to catch up with Common Side Effects. That I will probably review the whole season. Nathaniel Fogo, what's a movie delay you definitely feel benefited the film in the long run? From what I've heard about Brave New World, I actually do think it benefited it. I think Gangs of New York. I think Black Panther wouldn't have been what it was had it not happened when it did, because it kept getting pushed around development hell and so forth. I can't think of another. Those are good examples. Question: is it Doom or Boom? I don't want it to be Boom. That doesn't sound good. Cornbread. Question: preference by saying I'm joking. Is a conflict of interest for me to leave positive comments on your reviews since I'm a mod, or am I morally doomed? I don't pay you, so there's that. No, I don't think it's conflict of interest for criticism stuff is like if I am paying you and you were leaving comments and it was like helping your performance, working for me, that would be a conflict of interest. But you could, you're free to shit on me or not if you want to. So there's no conflict, Yeah, I don't think that would. But I sort of understand, it's fine to ask for clarification on that sort of thing. Nathaniel Fogo, what film are you looking forward to the most this year? I'm excited for Superman because my son is excited for it. So I'm excited for that. I'm going to try to take my kids to see Dogman in the theater despite it being home. Those are kind of my big ones. And the Looney Tune. I'm excited to take my kids to the Looney Tune movie. Excited to take my son to see Superman. Those are kind of the big ones. Excited to take my daughter to the second Wicked. So stuff like that. Bloxy Oxenwinkle, do you think Will Smith has tarnished his legacy going forward? It seems like everyone I know thinks he's kind of weird now and not interested in his films. Yeah. I don't think that Matrix thing did what he thought it would, so I think he sort of has. I think he needs to do something weird in a good way. You know what I mean? He needs to hit up weird directors who could get benefit from his involvement. You know what I mean? That would be a good move for him. Modelo Butterfly, should there be a live-action James Bond Jr. series and Bond meets Man from U.N.C.L.E. crossover? A lot of people suggested James Bond Jr. I don't know. There's been Amazon has actually not said anything about that. I don't know about Man from U.N.C.L.E., but I think James Bond Jr. I enjoyed that as a kid, so it'd be cool. Going back to the Will Smith thing, I'm sorry to go back on it. The one thing I will say, and why I bring this up as stars using directors, Kirk Douglas is the reason we have Stanley Kubrick to the degree that we had him. And there's a lot of stars that help out directors. And if you're a star and you're like, what should I do next? I would go looking for who's promising, who's interesting, and help your own career and also help someone else's and start a legacy. But what director has Will Smith done that for? And I think that's what he should be. I know I specifically brought up black directors, but I think it's weird that he's the only black star I can think of who did not get where he is with the help of a black director. It's pretty unusual. And I know he's been sort of weird about that, especially the auteur ones. But That's why you have to look for these smaller directors. Like I would be looking on like what he did with that Bel Air thing, like do that, but with a thing. I mean, nobody watched that, but it's like the theory of it at least. Anyway, I'll move on from Will Smith. I have a lot of thoughts on Will Smith. So, question: who more likely to get Bond movie now, Spielberg or Tarantino? That's a good. I don't think Tarantino would. I've heard more Nolan, but Spielberg, I think that would be an interesting one. I bet you he would consider that more than Star Wars, even though it's been a while. I think he would go, I don't know. I think he would say no, but I think he would think about it. So, Black Sack, so go. What's the best case scenario for the stream wars to play out in your opinion? I think Netflix. Everybody just has Netflix. I think Disney Plus is next. I think we'll see more free options, but as most people said, Peacock and Paramount, they're either going to merge or they're going to fall. I don't know how Apple continues, and Prime's just they have a lot of money. So I feel like somebody's going down, but I do feel like a block thing where for all the smaller ones could really work out and could help smaller ones. But until then, I think we'll start to see, especially the economy gets shittier, certain things will fall. What is your favorite James Bond parody? Johnny English, not plausible. I mean, it's probably Austin Powers. Yeah, I guess Top Secret in the counts. Probably Austin Powers. Johnny English is okay. Is Charlie Kaufman related to Lloyd Kaufman? I don't believe so. I didn't know people were going to make this joke, so that's why it threw me. I never heard that one before. Sorry, YouTube is being fucking hell. Okay. Okay, there we go. Is there any recent reviews you put out last year or so where you weren't quite happy with it or felt you didn't greatly articulate your points? If it did, I didn't put it out. Let me put it that way. I think I have one for A Real Pain. I haven't edited it because I wasn't happy with how I shot it. I don't think there was one. If it was, I kind of wanted to re-edit Amelia Perez again and again and again because it was like really, really long, and it's still really long, but it was like 22 minutes first cut, and then it came out to 21, and then it got down to 19. And part of me wanted to like keep going until it was like 17. But like as I tried going through it the final time and like nothing I felt should come out. So, but like I felt, it's usually when I shoot it, I feel that way. Like I thought the Megalopolis thing was bad, but when I edited it, I felt fine with it. So, usually if I really don't like it or if there's something when I shot it, I think there's something I shot the other day and I realized I left out one part. So I'll probably just reshoot that one part just in case, but I can't think of one that I was really bummed by. There's been ones like I think there's been ones long like 10 years ago that I was unhappy with but just left out. But like I think what was that? The J.J. Abrams one with the train and the kids, it's like Stranger Things Before, whatever that is. I really didn't like the sound was fucked up and I felt like that one I don't like, but I can't think of one. Like I'm not trying to be prideful. I just like feel like I've been doing this for a while, so I sort of know. But I can't think of one that like I was really disappointed. I probably wouldn't put it out because I have a bit of pride, and sometimes like stop doing that, just put it out. And I try to do it, but I do have a certain pride in my work. So if there's one you think that, please let me know. Actually, I'm curious, but. I think, sometimes I feel like I repeat myself. I try not to do that. Actually, World's Greatest Sinner, I almost want to redo. Tintin, I've wanted to review. I don't like that review. I thought it was too dismissive, especially when I rewatched it. But I can't think of any, like off the top of my head, I can't. Maybe there is one, but I didn't think I flubbed any more than like the ones I just mentioned. Those are the ones I have thought of doing re-reviews of stuff. So, what do you prefer, burger or hot dog? I'm more of a burger person, except Iceland has really great hot dogs, so that would be my exception. Carter Wright, ever heard of the YouTuber Radical Soda, pretty funny game reviewer. I haven't, but I'll check it out. I'm not really a game review person, so. PyZK, streaming service tier list. Tubi, Pluto, Disney Plus Max. I guess Netflix. Oh, Put Locker. Daily Motion. Internet Archive. Paramount Plus. Sure. Okay. I don't know. Thank you, Malcolm Rampart, by the way. That was very nice of you. What is your third place of choice after work and home? Where do you go to be in the community or hang out with friends? I don't really get to, and I need to do that more, but it's probably the movie theater, to be honest with you. That would be my third place of choice. I always feel very relaxed, especially with the nice seats we got now, the recliners they all got. I love that shit. Cornbread, why aren't more kid shows that have Bond villain parodies who force kids to eat their broccoli? You know what? That is a good point. That is a good one. MLT, are you familiar with John Svankenheimer? What is your favorite work from his works? I've reviewed Alice, and I talked about it in my 1988, the year animation broke kind of series. I only really know that. I think I've seen a few shorts, but I mainly know Alice. So, but I did review that like 18, 19. Will we ever get another Bond movie with the style of Terrence Young or at the level with Argento or John Pierre Melville? Probably not, but that's a cool idea. Mr. Beast as a Bond villain, or is that too realistic? I like it. What can Charlie XCX not do? I guess her last album when she tried to beat Dua Lipa, the one before Rat, probably that's it. What is your favorite Charlie XCX song? I actually like the Vroom Vroom EP, and I'd say the first, is that just Vroom Vroom? I like that one. I think the Vroom Vroom EP is really great. I would say that one. So I'd say Vroom Vroom. And I like the Sympathy for a Knife. I guess that one, those would be my two. I also really like, one thing I like about the Brat album is it's not really about being a brat. It's about like growing up and realizing, like coming to terms with things, like the song where he talks about how her and her boyfriend are going to get pregnant and how Apple is about generational trauma and realizing you don't want to repeat the mistakes of your parents. Like, I do feel like the problem with Charlie XCX, I am a fan of her and stuff, but I do think, like, if you really listen to the album, it's not about her being a brat. It's her realizing there's more to her and she needs to start evolving, and that's really what the album's about. Because at first she's like, I don't like you hanging out with my boyfriend Taylor Swift. And it goes through, I think I'm going to get pregnant, and like, I still like partying and doing coke. And I don't want to repeat the mistakes of my parents. It's very interesting. I think it's, anyway. Can Nickelback do the Bond song? Fuck no. I'd say Barry Sonnenfeld because he's done 4 movies with him, but yeah. Okay. True. Cornbread, will the Street Fighter film fulfill Eric Andre's place for Chun-Li to exist in real life? Like, not an actress, but she's real now. Yeah. Okay. Christian Gutierrez, how's it going? I haven't seen you a little bit. What is the best Q&A you have ever heard? Mine is AX Studio Trigger panel asking what Little Witch Academia, followed it with OKKO Eni makes a cameo. They said they hadn't watched it. Most Q&As do suck. I actually do when I do if I go to a Q&A, I try to research. The best Q&As I've ever been to, I've been to a few Ralph Bakshi's, and he's really on, and he would shit on John Kay way before people really shat on him. Talking about how unprofessional he was. Like, I know Ralph Bakshi helped start John Kay, but he willingly would be like, if you don't make deadline, you're a scam. Like, he would shit on that motherfucker. It's crazy. I did one with Walter Hill where I asked him about Drive and the driver, and he was like, answered like he like went into detail, and I felt amazing. And he goes, do you have any more? And I was like, no, I don't. And that was amazing. I went to also a Drive Q&A, and I think I've told this story before. It was a good Q&A, and a lot of people noticed the Driver, which is Walter Hill movie comparisons, when we were there, and all the questions were good. But if this is the funny story of it, is my wife and I were like, and then we have people from the cast, we're like, oh, is Ryan Gosling here? And it wasn't. We're like, who are these people? And one of those people was Oscar Isaacs. Anyway, I still think that's funny. And I think those are the best ones. The Mystery Science Theater 10th anniversary Q&A at Comic-Con, which I wasn't there for, but I've seen the video of, that was a pretty good one, as I recall. Yeah, but Dailymotion has some weird stuff. I found more rare stuff on Dailymotion. Cornbread. I will stake up for game. Okay. Where are we? We're at the end here. Okay, we have Medela Butterfly, Rocket Lomax, and the Fan Frog, I believe. If I missed your question, speak up. How could they never do Baby James Bond? I'm sure they'll consider it. Rocket Lomax, any films that you dislike as a kid but you liked as an adult? That's an interesting question. Maybe teenager. I can't think of one that I really disliked, to be honest with you, but that is a good question. No, Dailymotion sucks. I'm sorry. I was being silly with that anyway. Disliked as a kid. Huh. Like, I want to have a good answer, but I don't. Oh, I didn't actually like Pee-wee's Playhouse when I was a kid. And then as an adult, I really liked it. Like, I wanted to watch He-Man. Like, I thought it was... I didn't like it as much. My dad was like, no, it's supposed to be really cool. I was like, no! And I was wrong. I admit that. Nathaniel Fogel, would you ever want to take your kids to a convention? If they wanted to go, but it's like such a commitment in terms of time, because you don't just like pop in and be like, yeah, this is it. Cool. Like, it's an all-day thing. I wouldn't at these ages, you know what I mean? If it was free and there's something for them, but I did go to conventions. I was about a year older than my daughter is now, but I was like so into comics. So it was something like that. I would, but it would depend. Anyway, all right. We have done, as the cliche is, this is the longest stream. It might be. This was kind of long, which I kind of wanted to do. I wanted to give you guys some more time for once. So I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you, everyone who gave a super chat during the show. I wanted to give a shout out to everyone who did. It's always appreciated. We have Bloxy, Alex Winkle, Bloxy Alex Winkle, Austin, Bloxy, Austin. Thank you for your generosity. Austin, Medela Butterfly, and Malcolm Rampart. I very much appreciate you doing that during the show. But anyway, thank you all for being here. I hope to have a Captain America review out tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for watching the videos. You are really cool. I'm very honored to have this fan base, and I really appreciate it. I'm going to chill now. I hope to actually have the timestamps at some point, but we'll see. Anyway, you had a question? I answered your question. Well, write it in the comments. Say it now, Austin. Say it right now, and then we'll go. Well, I'll just sit here and wait. Sit back. Let's wait for this question. Chilling out. This better be good, Austin. This better be really, really good. We're all waiting. It was a difficult one. A different one? Well, I want to know. Well, pins and needles. Sorry, I feel like I'm being a jerk a little bit. But no, I want to know. I will wait. Let's wait. Should I have a late lunch tomorrow or an early dinner? Well, you can't do both. I'm going to say late lunch. All right, good night. That's it. Sorry, that was a fun bit, Austin. Thank you. Thank you for that, man. Wait, you posted it? Wait, where did you post it? If it's in the Patreon. Now I'm just confused, man. Now I'm just confused. Did you? Okay, that's it. We're done. Good night. That's it. I gotta go chill. I'll see you next week. I think it'll be Thursday. Have a good night. Okay, sorry. Anyway, I think I answered it. Late lunch. I'll see you next time. This is a funny way to end it. I love all you guys. See you all later. Peace.